We lock our front doors, turn on our security systems, and settle into the physical safety of our homes. And then we open our phones and broadcast our exact whereabouts, thoughts, and lives to millions of unseen strangers. 17-year-old Sana Yousaf treated her digital presence as an extension of her professional ambition. She was an aspiring doctor who used her platform to celebrate her roots in the mountainous Chitral Valley. But her day-to-day life was spent miles away from those mountains. She lived a comfortable, highly secure life with her family in the affluent G13 sector of Pakistan's capital, Islamabad. This chart visualizes the scale of her digital reach. From the safety of her home, she grew an audience of 600,000 on Instagram and 700,000 on TikTok, focusing her content on female education and independence. Sana was a modern success story. She was a young woman leveraging digital connectivity to build a positive community, all while operating from a position of total physical security. But the entire ecosystem of social media influence relies on a specific psychological trick. Success requires building a parasocial bond, creating content that makes an audience feel like they are interacting with a close personal friend. The danger in this design is that the internet has no physical walls. When intimacy is broadcasted at scale, vulnerable or unstable followers can easily mistake that manufactured connection for real-world ownership. On June 2, 2025, the digital boundary protecting Sana Yousaf was shattered. A follower decided that his one-sided online connection gave him the right to dictate her physical reality. That follower was 22-year-old Umar Hayat. Living in the dense streets of Faisalabad, Umar was unemployed, only had a 12th grade education, and lacked any real financial stability. He did, however, have one thing going for him: a minor social media presence. With about 70,000 followers, he had experienced a small taste of digital validation. When Umar came across Sana's Instagram profile, his interest warped into an intense fixation. He began obsessively consuming her content and repeatedly reaching out. Sana responded as anyone has the right to do. She clearly and repeatedly rejected his advances. To a man with a fragile ego, those rejections felt like an intolerable insult. His inability to accept a simple no twisted a standard interaction into a dangerous, pathological obsession. The threat exited the digital world and entered physical reality on May 29th, the day Sana turned 17. Umar traveled from Faisalabad to Islamabad, located Sana's address, and stood outside her home for nearly 7 hours just to catch a glimpse of her. While Umar lurked outside her front gate, Sana was miles away, celebrating her birthday with friends at a rooftop restaurant, completely unaware he was there. The danger of a digital connection is that the victim often remains unaware when a threat leaves the screen. Sana had no way of knowing that her physical safety had already evaporated while she was out at dinner. 4 days later, on June 2nd, the house in the G13 sector was quiet. Sana's parents and brother were out, leaving her in her bedroom to edit a video, with only her aunt nearby in the home. Taking advantage of the empty daytime streets, Umar bypassed the neighborhood security. He slipped into the house in broad daylight and cornered Sana inside her bedroom. Sana tried to de-escalate the situation. Recognizing his rage, she offered him a glass of water and warned him that the house was monitored by CCTV cameras, hoping to force him to rethink his actions. But the argument continued. Even in the face of immediate danger, Sana held her ground and delivered one final, definitive no to his face. Unable to process that rejection, Umar pulled a pistol from his pocket. From point-blank range, he shot the 17-year-old twice in the chest. Sana took her last breaths in her own bedroom. A man's digital entitlement had completely overridden a young woman's basic human right to say no. At 5:19 p.m., Umar grabbed Sana's mobile phone, intending to wipe any digital evidence connecting them, and fled the neighborhood. He rushed back to a rented vehicle waiting nearby. To his unaware driver, the passenger appeared frantic, disheveled, and visibly panicked. But his attempt at a cover-up failed. The very CCTV cameras Sana had warned him about recorded him fleeing the scene, and police were able to track the stolen phone. Within 20 hours of the murder, authorities had him in handcuffs. Deleting messages could not undo the physical violence he had already committed. A promising life is gone, and a family is destroyed, all because a man chose to kill rather than sit with a bruised ego. Sana's murder is part of a rising trend of crimes against women in Pakistan. sparking massive protests among a young population demanding systemic change. This case forces us to look at a fundamental breakdown in society: why a man's entitlement is frequently valued more than an innocent woman's life. Every day, women are forced into a chilling calculation. They have to constantly weigh the physical danger they might invite simply by turning a man down. Until society addresses this lethal level of entitlement, our digital connections will continue to bypass our physical security. A public profile provides a predator with a direct roadmap to a victim's front door.